The formulation of Molinism began during the 16th century in Spain, around the time of the Renaissance and the Catholic Reformation. A Jesuit scholar would rise to prominence and controversy for his interpretation of divine knowledge and human freedom. This is a summary of notable events in the life of Luis De Molina and the development of Molinism. On September 29, 1535, in Cuenca, Spain, Luis de Molina was born. This child would grow up to become the Spanish Jesuit who would develop the theological system known as Molinism. In 1554, Molina was sent to study philosophy at the University of Coimbra, where he found himself under the mentorship of Pedro de Fonseca, the philosopher whose works earned him the epithet the Portuguese Aristotle. That same year, Molina became a full-fledged member of the Society of Jesus, also known as the Order of Jesuits. By 1562, Molina had earned his doctorate of theology from the University of Coimbra. The following year, he began his tenure as a philosophy instructor, a role he fulfilled at several universities. Later in 1588, Molina's seminal work, The Concord of Free Will with the Gifts of Grace, Divine Foreknowledge, Providence, Predestination, and Reprobation, was published. This work laid out the central tenets of Molinism, particularly the concept of middle knowledge. Molina's ideas were quickly met with opposition from the Dominican theologians, notably Domingo Bañez, Tomás de Lemos, and Diego Alvarez. They were joined by Enrique Henriquez and Juan de Mariana, who were fellow Jesuits of Molina. However, Molina garnered support from other Jesuits who defended his theological position. Key supporters included Gabriel Vasquez, his foremost advocate in Spain, as well as Leonardus Lessius from Flanders, Robert Bellarmine, Francisco Suarez, and Pedro de Fonseca. A year later, in 1589, Molina continued to defend his views, publishing Appendix ad Concordium, responding to objections against his theories. Between 1591 and 1596, intense debates took place in Valladolid between Jesuit Molinists and Dominican Thomists, discussing Molina's ideas. This period of theological contention was so tumultuous that John Harden described the clash between the two groups as a veritable civil war of theology throughout Spain. Amidst this turmoil, Bañez exploited his friendship with leading censors of the Spanish Inquisition to insist that the Concordia be included in the Index of Prohibited Books. While the formal judgment was delayed, faced with mounting tensions and the threat of possible imprisonment or bodily harm, Molina took this opportunity to escape and take refuge in his hometown, while the Inquisition provisionally denounced him. Meanwhile, the magistrates, recognizing the importance of diverse theological perspectives, ensured his protection and promoted the exchange of differing views like his, believing it would ultimately benefit the Church. In 1598, a special papal commission almost declared Molina a heretic, putting him in danger of being burned at the stake. By 1599, the Congregatio de Auxiliis, a series of debates on grace and predestination, was in full swing. But before the debates concluded, on October 12, 1600, Luis de Molina passed away in Madrid at the age of 65. His death was attributed to a severe gastrointestinal illness, coupled with the overwhelming stress he faced due to opposition during his final years. 7 years later, in 1607, Pope Paul V formally declared Molina's system to be compatible with Catholic doctrine, allowing his works to be explored and studied without worry of any spiritual detriment. Until the 1800s, Molinism saw a decline in prominence with the rise of other theological movements. However, in the 20th century, Molinism experienced a resurgence, particularly through the work of philosophers like Alvin Plantinga and William Lane Craig. In the 21st century, Molinism continues to be a significant topic in philosophical and theological discussions, influencing modern debates on divine foreknowledge and human freedom. Thank you for taking the time to delve into the life of Luis de Molina and the development of Molinism. If you enjoyed this summary, please consider liking and subscribing for more insightful content like this. Your support is greatly appreciated.